Hello everyone and welcome to Antiques Made Easy. My name's Adrian and I've been a dealer for 25 years and I'd like to show you how to research online. Today's mystery item, a pottery figurine. We want to know who made it, when and how much it's worth. So we start as usual by taking a look at the figure, and we can see it depicts a girl holding a staff, sitting on a rock with some embossed design with fleur-de-lis around the base. If we look at the staff, you can see that the end of it is damaged. So let's take another look. She's made from a black material, so that's important. Stamped on the back, Psyche, Wedgwood. So we already know that it's a Wedgwood figure. The base doesn't give us any more clues about anything. It's a black material that Wedgwood were known for from the late 1700s, called black basalt. So this is an important word search again. A black basalt figure of Psyche. We can have a look online for Psyche and Wedgwood. And I've measured her and she's 8.5 inches high, which might come in handy for narrowing down this particular figure. So now we want to know when it was made, if it's 18th century or 19th century, and how much it's worth. Today I'm going to use DuckDuckGo as a search engine. I've said before that it tends to have more older images on file than Google. So let's start by putting in black basalt Wedgwood. Making sure there's no E in the Wedgwood, which could be a common mistake. Black basalt Wedgwood figurine Psyche. And images. Now straight away there's one here. So we can have a look at that. Oh, the page you requested was removed, so we can't look at that. Here you can see there are a pair of figures. It won't impact on the value of our one piece, but they were originally made as a pair because of the story of Cupid and Psyche. So we don't have Cupid, but we do have Psyche. So we could take a look at this one. This is in Skinner's in America. And see if we get any details. Whoops. A pair of Wedgwood black basalt Cupid and Psyche figures, England 19th century. 8.25 inches and 8 inches presumably for Cupid. Psyche with a 1.5 inch chip under the base. Right, and if we look at her, this isn't very easy, I don't know why they've done it like that. There, you can see it keeps skipping around. You can see the base and the staff. Let's have a look at her face. Yes, very similar. Sold for $431. So if we can get rid of that one, and that's another pair there, very good condition, sold for $554. But we're trying to narrow down the actual age. And you can see there, that is a common mistake, Wedgwood spelt with an E. So sometimes it's worth looking for spelling mistakes. Lawrence Stern. We can carry on looking down, we might find ours. But it doesn't look like it. Is it at the top? No. So it wasn't actually available there. We've tried that one already, I think. Aha! Now, circa 1860. This is on Etsy. And it's sold. See item details. Reserved for Terry. £325. But we're not. It's not the price at the moment that we're interested in. It's that the model matches. This one has definitely got the end of the staff missing. Let's have a look. Yes. I'm presuming that the staff missing is quite common. It's a vulnerable part of the piece. But what is interesting is you can see the mould mark of the arm there. So if we go back to our figurine, have a look there, the mould mark is quite prominent, and that these pieces would have been made from several parts and then put together. Circa 1860. Now, if we look at the description, 8.5 inches, in excellent condition with no cracks, and noting one chip in the underside of the base. Well, they don't actually know that the end of the staff is missing. It's after the original Sev biscuit models by Falconer, and circa 1830 to 1860, in their opinion. But I think if we carry on looking, if we can just... Oh, no. It's difficult to get that off there. Circa 1844 on Pinterest. That's gone through to the same one, I think. It's difficult to get this picture off here. For some unknown reason. It's actually quite annoying. Can we get onto another one? No, that's the same one there. Right. Oh, I can go past it, that's all right. Well, further down here, we're not actually seeing Psyche. But we've got an indication, so if we go to all, we might get some more details about why people believe it's 1860. There's one, circa 1860. That's not there anymore. More results. This item was not sold. 18th to early 19th century. I think we're getting a majority of people thinking late 19th century, they're saying there. '19th century, circa 1900. I think it's telling me that the market actually doesn't really know. They don't know whether it's 18th century or late 19th century. Skinners have decided that it's later. More results. Here, circa 1840s. They look like the same model, but not done. The same model, but with 100 years of estimates of the time that the piece was actually made. That one's not there. So this may be an example of a piece that would have to be looked up in a book to see if there's any noticeable difference between the piece as it was made in 1800 or in 1900. But at the moment, I haven't really managed to narrow it down. But it doesn't seem to affect the value. Circa 1860, they're reduced to £184 from 369. And yet they're saying again here 1830 to 60. So if you were going to follow the majority, that would be one way of looking at it, just to follow the majority in the absence of absolute 100% knowledge. You would say if that it's circa 1860 after Falconer, and just leave it at that. I think that will be a fair way of looking at it. And then we'll just move on to the value. It's not particularly satisfying. Like I say, the internet isn't always the best place to get 100% knowledge. You find that a lot of people follow other people, and they could all be wrong. So there are limits on online research. That is a lesson to be learned. But we'll stick with the majority. We'll go with the crowd and say it's after Falconer, circa 1860, or possibly even 1830 to 60, like several other people have said. and then we'll go on to the... So now we move on to valuations. We've seen some of these before. If we look at this one, we can see that a pair sold for $338. Restored finger. So that's one result in a sale room. If we look at this one, $431 for the pair with a 1.5 inch chip. We'll have a look at another one, or another pair rather, 554, very good condition. And we move on to this one. This is all pretty straightforward. Now we've got a result here of $1,476, 2015, so it's not that long ago. You know, if we look, they're in very good condition, but this disturbs me a little bit because they've described the pair as being from 1900, but it's the same model from the look of it. So I'm a little bit lost. Oh, thank you, magpies. I'm a little bit lost because that is a huge discrepancy, and it tells me that possibly there's some information that I'm not a party to, or it was merely supply and demand. Could have been that somebody really wanted them. We're having another look here, $1,230, 19th century. And that's another sale room. This can happen. There can be fluctuations in a market, or there could be a piece of information that I'm not aware of, that some are earlier than others, or just something that makes them a little bit rarer. This is where the internet has got a limit, and you really need to get to books, because the books can cast a little bit more light on the subject. There's another point to bear in mind as well, that if we look at our original figure, oh, I don't know where we've got. If we go to our original figure, and we can see that the staff has got a section missing at the end of it. This doesn't really impact on the value the same as if this were a 20th century collectible, a piece of porcelain. There's two things to bear in mind. One is the ease of restoration, and black basalt is not a difficult restoration. It's just a matter of adding the missing piece and putting a matte glaze on. There's the ease of restoration, and there's also the fact that it's old and rare. So it's like if you were looking at 17th and 18th century pottery, damages don't impact as much as they would with a 20th century item, or an item where there's a lot more of them knocking around. So and collectors are a little bit more forgiving of damage. So when it comes to my tentative valuation, I would say it's possible that this is circa 1850, 1860, but I don't know for sure. But based on that, I'd put a valuation of $200 to $300, or roughly the same in pounds, not much difference in pounds. The fact that it isn't a a pair, it doesn't impact either, because I think that Psyche is more desirable than the Cupid model. So I think tentatively 200 to 300, and there isn't a massive difference between the retail value and auction value when it comes to items like this either, which is another thing that you don't see in a lot of other areas. There can be massive difference between what something fetches in auction and what somebody asks for in a collector's market. Not the case. So I hope you've enjoyed this attempt at a valuation, which has been quite tricky. I hope it's illuminated some areas of antiques and how the market assesses sometimes tricky items. You can support me on Patreon as Adrian Parker. You can also watch my other videos where I look into different areas of antiques, or you can catch up with me on Facebook, where I've got a group called Antiques and Collectibles Wanted UK, and also a £1 valuation group. £1 valuations, antiques and art, or something like that. You'll find it. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you again. Bye.